What's going on, and hopefully everyone is doing good. And in this little video, I'm gonna be going over the last 2 days for what is it, NAS 100, and I'm just gonna do a little review on everything that happened within what's today's date. So from October 22nd, no, 23rd and 24th. I didn't do it yesterday, so I'm gonna go over it today. But with that being said, let's just hop onto these charts. So like I said, we're going to be doing the last 2 days. So yesterday was Monday. Today is Tuesday. I'm going to start off with doing Tuesdays first just because it makes it easier. Just so you'll see. We'll see. But the first thing we're going to do is just we're going to mark up previous day's high, previous day's low. Same thing we always do. So we're going to be marking up Monday's previous day's high because we're going over Tuesday's price action. So this morning, I did take a loss. I was personally looking. Just thinking about it kind of makes me upset, but where was it? I was ideally looking for longs within this area down here, but this long wick at 9:30, it was a pretty big wick because, mind you, I'm on the 1 hour time frame, so this wick is about 42 points. That's a 42 point wick, and I think my stop loss was about 30. I don't know exactly what my entry was. I could check real quick. It was 14,719. Where is that on here? It may be a little bit different depending on the broker, but it's about right in here. So I was looking for the longs right at this 1 hour fair value gap right here. Right here. And if you don't know where I'm pointing, this fair value gap right here. So with this 8 a.m. candle, I was looking for it, but as you can see, this candle just came all the way down and it stopped me out. But nonetheless, looking at it in hindsight, that wasn't even the best moves. So after we have that marked up, we're going to mark up the Asian session. So it's going to be from 18 o'clock, which is the open of the Asian session, all the way to midnight. I'm just going to make this look like this and with orange. There we go. Mark up the Asian session high and low. And the main reason I do that is because what is the Asian session? All the Asian session is at the end of the day, and the main reason I mark it up is just to see where the high and low is. Why? Because I pay attention to specific times of the day, because what those times are doing is creating liquidity at the end of the day. So when you think of the previous day's highs and lows, that's just a higher time frame area to watch for, areas where the market is going to move to, which is what? Liquidity. The Asian session, I like to watch the highs and the lows of the Asian session because why? I like to watch to see if price is going to run to it. Why is it going to run to it? Because these are forms of liquidity. So if we mark up this area right here, this low, which is going to be the low of the Asian session, you can see right over here, there's an area in there that we're going to watch. Why? Because this is something that you could have been able to capitalize off of, and I'm going to explain how. Also, I want you to pay attention right up here to this wick, which is probably what, 11? No, this is 10. 10 o'clock this happened, which is pretty nice. Not going to lie to you. But that's the main thing that I'm going to be talking about when it comes to today's price action. This big wick up here, which came a little bit later in the day, there's a 4 hour fair value gap over here. So I have that marked up for now. But we'll go down and we'll just start talking about all this. So the first thing that happened was from the London session, price open, started going higher. We had a retracement within price. But overall, for the most part, from the open of the day at 12 a.m., it didn't really have any crazy movement, hindsight, until 10 a.m. So what happened at 10 a.m.? 10 a.m., we had a run of this previous day's high, which is what? Just a form of liquidity that we like to see and we like to watch for within price. When it aligns with a specific time, like 9:30 or 10 a.m., or maybe 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. for London session, these are just prime times that have a lot of volume. And a lot of volume, meaning there's more than likely going to be a run to somewhere of significance. And that's why we're watching specific areas, because we don't know where it's going to go, but we do have ideal areas that price likely reaches for and has reached for over time. So at over here at 10 a.m., we had a run of the previous day's high. And was this a specific price level? Nothing really. So we had a run of the previous day's high at 10 a.m. That's what happened right here. And why is it significant? Because this is something that I like to pay attention to. When it comes to the types of trades I like to take, I like to watch for false break scenarios. And when we say false break scenarios, what is that? The main thing that I like to see is I like to see an area of liquidity, meaning a previous day's high or low, an Asian session high or low, London high or low, weekly high or low, just something of significance. I want to watch to see it get ran like this. So I want to see a high, for example, right here, get run through. And then I want to capitalize on the move going down. So I want my entry to be somewhere within that area. And that's exactly why moves like this are good. But at this time, I took my L for the day. So I wasn't even able to capitalize on this trade here. But going over it later in the day, this is the ideal move that I would have wanted to take it. So we learn from it, and I will learn from it just like everybody else. So we take that. This is the ideal move I look for. So when you look at it, when it comes to a candle, right here at 10 a.m., we ran the high, and then from here, what happened? Price started to slow down. We got a bearish engulfing at 11 a.m., and then price dropped. And where did it run to? It came all the way to the Asian session low. So it's the Asian. I spelled that out. What is it? Yeah, Asian session low ran at 12 p.m. And why is 12 p.m. significant? Because this tends to be a reversal time. I don't like to trade at this time. I would rather be out or in the trade already by this time. But 12 o'clock, which is the lunch session, tends to have a lot of reversals in price. And as you can see, after we ran this low, and if we look on any higher time frame, maybe there was a gap or anything that possibly got filled. I don't see anything off just from doing a little skim. But then from here, price started to run all the way higher. But at this point, this is price action taken. This is all price action that's taken. That's happening. I can't fucking talk. That's happening after 1 o'clock. So I don't trade that time. So that's why, in my opinion, I don't really care for any of this price action. Yes, it is important, but I like to pay attention to the main things that I can take advantage of, because this is all within the time frame and things that I look at, and with this previous day's low down here. So all of this is all I needed to be able to try to catch these moves. And even though I didn't catch this move, the previous day's high was something that I was looking to get ran to as a target, and I wasn't able to take advantage of it. Even though price did go my direction and it went to my target, and then it had a big reversal from that point, it doesn't really mean nothing if you can't capitalize on it at the end of the day. So we live and learn. We're just going to know for next time. So one thing I'm going to do before I move on to the previous day is just going to be doing a little outline. So where did the market open? Opened right here, and meaning right over here at 12. Here, I'll use the crosshair to make it a little bit better. So right over here, this is where it opened. So this is the opening bar. What was the highest point? The highest point was all the way up here. Where was the lowest point? The lowest point was all the way down here. And the main reason I'm doing this, where was the close? Right here. The main reason I do this is just to show you what the candle would ideally look like. So yes, this is a bar. This would be a bar candle. So if you know what a bar candle is, it's just like the bars. And what it's showing is the open, high, low, and close. But if you just look at it like this, this is the type of candle that today made in price. So what is that? Is overall looks like something. It looks like a dreidel. If I ain't gonna lie, it looks like a fucking dreidel. Like the shits that you spin. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But it looks like one of those. And if you know what that looks like when it comes to a price, a lot of the time it means something as if we may either go higher, but it's hard to tell. But in my opinion, it looks like we're having a lot of downwards momentum based off of the candle. But I know on the lower time frame that this is just all one wick. But say, for example, we turn that into a red candle. And if you see these types of candles, it looks like this one right here, for example. Like we're kind of an indecision point. So price may be getting ready to either come lower after we ran all these highs to the left. So we may be looking to come lower, or price is just getting ready to keep pushing, as you saw with this candle. But like I said, I don't like to pay attention to things that aren't really happening, because this is just all, like I said, hindsight after the fact. So we'll just have to see tomorrow when it comes down to it. But just like that, we're going to be done with today's price action, and we're just going to do a little brief overview of yesterday. So same thing, we're going to be marking up the previous day's high and low, but when it comes to yesterday, we're going to be marking up Fridays. So all that there, and this is the previous day's low. I'm going to do this a little bit more brief just because it's going to look a little bit off considering we just used all this price action. But one thing I could do is maybe like try to black it out. Yeah, just pay attention to the left side. There we go. That didn't really help. Whatever. I'll just delete it. We're going to mark up the Asian session high and low. So from 18 o'clock all the way to midnight. And I like to have them color coordinated. One thing I would give you guys as a tip is just have everything color coordinated. It makes it easier when you're marking up charts all the time. So you always know what everything is. And it just makes it's very easy and it makes it simple. Less brain stress. But first things first, the main areas that I want to point you guys to pay attention to is going to be down here at this low. I'll make that just like that and black right at that low. Why this low? Because in my opinion, this would have been the best trade that you could have caught. And I was looking at price at this point, but I was already out of my trade. I had won the trade on Monday. So I was already out. It was just more or less something I was watching when it happened. And why is this important? Because like I said, what are the moves that I like to pay attention to? I like to watch to see a higher low get ran through and trade the false break move, taking it higher. And where do I like to get my entries? Ideally in places like this. But what is the main thing that ties these two things together? Is time. I need to wait for a specific time for this area to get ran. Because if it gets ran through at Asian session or in the middle of the night, I don't care because that's not my trading session. But if price runs a specific high or low, for example, previous day's high, previous day's low, Asian session high, Asian session low, London session high, just anything of importance when it comes to liquidity, I want to wait and see it get ran at a specific time. What times? 9:30, 10 a.m. Within that time frame of 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., within those 2 1-hour candles, that is my time frame that I like to see price make its move. And as you can see, when did this move happen? On the 9 a.m. candle. And if we go down to the 30 minutes, what candle did this happen on? The 9:30 candle. So it's just a lot of the times, these are things you want to wait for. Now, even though I didn't capitalize off this move, I was able to catch this whole move that went lower to run this low. I was in on the shorts, and this was my target when this happened. And this was my target for a reason, because I knew there could have potentially been a move. So I took some off, and then my runner got stop break even. If you were in the live or in the stream, you would see that. But this is the main area that I would have wanted to take a trade. So what is this move? We got the London low ran at 9:30 a.m. And then from this, it was just a liquidity grab or a false break, whatever you want to call it, or a turtle soup, stop hunt, whatever you want to call it. I just call it false breaks because it was a false breakout. It ran it, and then where did it go for? It went for the London session high. It went for the Asian session high. So all of these areas would have been great areas to scale out at. But then even then, you see, price kept going. It almost went for the previous day's high, but as you can see, the previous day's high got ran today. So, yeah, that's just a little brief overview of yesterday's. I don't want to go too deep into it. I missed a day, unfortunately. I wasn't feeling the best, so we're just going to move on with it. But with that being said, hopefully this video was informative. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it was able to guide you to how I view the markets. And if you also want to learn how to do it, still just join the live streams, join the private inner circle. We're here every day. So with that being said, stay safe, stay productive, and I'm going to see you in the next one.